It's back. Football is back and football is brilliant and I am over the moon. It's totally unmatched, isn't it? The drama, the jeopardy, the last few minutes of that game at the Emirates. What a huge result that is for Arsenal. It really is a massive, significant result in, dare I say it already, a title race. Arsenal do not have a particularly pretty record on the opening day of the season at home, and yet today they found a way, and that is going to be crucial if Arsenal are to launch a serious and sustained bid for the Premier League title, as I believe they will. I believe that Arsenal will win the league, and everything that I've seen today from Arsenal at the Emirates intensifies my feeling that they have the minerals for the fight. They do have what it takes to win the league. Look, I'm going to focus on Arsenal here. I really am. I'm going to talk in detail about why I think Arsenal was so good today for many, many reasons. But first, I think it's very important that we acknowledge the contribution of Nottingham Forest. Look, don't get me wrong. Arsenal were clearly the better team. Arsenal definitely deserved the 3 points. I mean, in the first half alone, they had 84% possession, 7 shots. Like, they were clearly the better team, and the rightful result was secured. But I thought Nottingham Forest were terrific. I really do. I think they battled so hard until the end, and we have to give them so much credit. They forced that ending, and that ending was poetry, wasn't it? That ending's what we love. You know, the ball being launched into the box, so much fear around the Arsenal fans, so much jeopardy, everybody on the edge of their seats. That's why we love football. It's always a Rizzler paper away from disintegrating or being one of the best things that could ever happen to you on that particular moment. And that's what we saw. And Nottingham Forest deserve an awful lot of credit. I thought Steve Cooper got it right. Excellent substitutions, a lightning fast. You will not see a better counter-attack goal than the goal that they scored today. And I thought Awoniyi was excellent. Elanga looks decent. I think Forest could have a good season. They really were excellent today. And that chance early on, it was Brennan Johnson, wasn't it? That glorious opportunity to put Forest ahead. If that had gone in, it could have been a very different game. But Arsenal survived that, and therefore they managed to ultimately, overall at least, looking at the game as a whole, they managed to dominate the game. They were definitely the better team. And this is now, we're already where we were last year, aren't we? You know, there's this French expression, right? It's something like, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Plus ça change, plus ça la même chose, or something like that, right? And you think, we're in a new season, some new players, new horizons, new dreams, everything different. And yet, Manchester City have won their game and Arsenal have replied immediately. It's nip and tuck already. The more things change, the more things stay the same, because that is where we are. But as good as Forest were, as much credit as I can lavish upon them, Arsenal were too good. Simply, Arsenal were too good. They were at various points sensational, and the reason they won the game is because the class told. There was just some moments of magic from the Arsenal players, which is why they are arguably the very best in their positions in the league. The reason why Gabriel Martinelli is seen as being so good, so valuable, so inexorably linked to a title challenge, so valuable to Arsenal, so necessary for Arsenal, is because he can do things that other footballers can't even dream of doing. He can actually do things that other players can't envisage. Like, nobody knows what he did. Like, he has already secured the best assist of the season. The season is, what, a game and a half old at the time. And he already has secured the best assist that you will see this season. That is what Gabriel Martinelli did. For that Eddie Nketiah goal, it was truly fantastic what he did. And he managed to do a sort of pirouette back heel. Is that a fair way to describe it? I don't know if I'm articulate enough or even clever enough to do this assist justice. It was reminiscent. It was different, but it was reminiscent of what Dimitar Berbatov did for Rooney. Do you remember Dimitar Berbatov on the touchline at Old Trafford, at the away end, not the Stretford end, the other end, when he sort of danced around the ball, around the touchline, kept the ball in play, and gave Wayne Rooney an open goal? It was similar to that. Don't get me wrong. Eddie Nketiah had a lot of work to do and actually scored a beautiful goal, smashed it home. But that was one of the reasons why Arsenal won the game, because they have that kind of quality, that kind of unpredictable, mercurial, dazzling quality. And they have it in abundance because they have it in Martinelli and they also have it in Bukayo Saka. And that is why I believe they can win the league. Because if you think about the ingredients that you need to win the league, Arsenal demonstrated almost all of them today. What did they do? They got their noses in front. It's very important. They're not good on the opening day at home. So there's a little bit of pressure. There'll be a little bit of trepidation amongst the support. Slightly concerned. They get their noses in front. Very important. Then, the way they did it, they demonstrated some majesty, some beauty to score those goals. You know, Eddie Nketiah capitalising on that skill. That's crucial, right? And then, this is the most important thing. If you take one thing from this video, this is what Arsenal did today that is the hallmark of champions that previous Arsenal teams of a recent era would not have done. You know when it could have gone wrong? And it could. I think even the most biased Arsenal fan will admit that there was a moment where it could have gone wrong. The attacks were coming in. There was a Kai Havertz handball. There was so much going on, right? It could have gone wrong. 2-0 up and coasting could have ended up 2-2. It didn't. Do you know how important it is that it doesn't? Because in the season, you're going to have moments. You're going to have blips. You're going to have difficult times. You're going to have to ride the crest of a wave. You're going to have to dig into the trenches. And therefore, when it can go wrong, when there's potential for it to go wrong, don't let it. Fight. Do whatever you have to do. And the team did that today. There was a moment, I think this is probably a microcosm of the entire game. It was Leandro Trossard racing. Was it Czech? I can't remember. Racing, right? Leandro Trossard, Arsenal under the cosh. It's all going a little bit wrong. It's all so much pressure on the Arsenal goal line. You can see that there is fear amongst the Arsenal fans because all of a sudden the game is in genuine jeopardy. And Arsenal needed some relief. They needed a way of somehow getting the ball out of their own danger zone in order to create just a moment of respite. And Leandro Trossard ended up demonstrating the will to win, the desire, the hunger, because he ended up in a foot race that he had no right to win, and yet he somehow managed to win it. And that is actually representative of who Arsenal are at the moment and who they are trying to be. So that was absolutely huge. And there was more good news for Arsenal, really. If you think about all three of the new signings, Rice, Timber, Havertz, settled. I'll come on to a little bit of bad news, but I think the three players that were new settled, and overall, this is just a really good day. Then, I've spoken about the brilliance of Gabriel Martinelli, man of the match, undoubtedly, Bukayo Saka. I mean, what a finish. I mean, the pressure was building on Nottingham Forest, and Arsenal then just made it 2-0. And it was Saka who was just unbelievable. Forest failed to clear a corner. Saka, he picks the ball up on the right, as he has done so many times, not only today, but before. Then he just let rip, pings it, absolute perler, from outside the box, curling into the top corner. And obviously that moment put Arsenal in total and utter control. Can you imagine what Matt Turner must have been thinking then? Like this time last week, Matt Turner was an Arsenal player. Suddenly he's picking the ball out the net from Saka in a Premier League game at the Emirates, but for a different team. It's, a moment for his thoughts. But the one slight issue, and we're waiting to see, the one problem from today for Arsenal is Timber. Like, nobody was near him. And when you see a player go to ground when there is no real obvious reason as to why they're on the floor, like he pulled up really abruptly. I don't know if he was possibly feeling the effects of the injury that he picked up in the first half. Maybe playing on had exacerbated the issue, but it certainly didn't look good. And he was like, there was a moment where he was like smacking the ground in like desperation or pain or anguish or whatever it was. And obviously it's not nice to see. And there's no doubt that he's a very good player. Don't get me wrong. I thought Tomiyasu did really well when he came on. And I think his physicality, his presence, did Arsenal a real favour as it got slightly aggro towards the end. But yeah, it's never nice to see a player like that going off. And watching Timber sort of be helped off the pitch by the physio, concerning. So I don't know how that's shaping up. I don't know how that's going. But a great day for Arsenal, that aside. 3 points. Gabriel Jesus out and Nketiah on the score sheet. Saka finding his rhythm. Creativity galore over on the other wing with Martinelli. Declan Rice looking at home and Timber slotting in very well. but sadly injuring himself. We'll have to see how that one goes. But bad news, if you don't want Arsenal to win the league, really bad news. Thank you for watching this video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, will you do me the honour of clicking a like? It really does help me out. So thank you so much if you would do that. And if you're new around here, please consider clicking the subscriber button. It would be my honour, my joy to welcome you into this community. Thank you so much for watching this video. Football's back, eh? Isn't it glorious? I cannot wait. Gonna go and get stuck in. What shall I watch now? People, West Ham? See.